Howdy! Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Vanston, and welcome to the first video of a brand new series, 10 Fun Facts. You can think of it as like a miniature breakdown, just a little condensed supplement of a breakdown that you can wash down with a cold glass of knowledge, which is also this video. I lost the metaphor. Anyway, today we're going to be covering a gem of filmmaking history, the first feature-length CGI movie to ever be made, Toy Story! There are hundreds of fun facts about this movie, but here are 10 particularly fun ones. It might seem odd, but I want to start in Sid's room, because this thing is packed to the gills with little Easter eggs that are easy to miss. Like Sid has a Binford toolbox, which was the fictional brand from Home Improvement, aka the amazing 90s show that starred Tim Allen, aka Buzz Lightyear, and that reference is just mwah, aka good. His walls are lined with parody posters, like this Web of Terror poster that's parodying old posters of the movie The Fly, this Megadork poster parodying the band Megadeth, and also this guy has a Mickey Mouse tattoo on his arm, and two posters which actually show up in other movies. A copy of his poster Killin' Paul Bunyan and his Blue Ox of Doom, which is such a metal title, can also be seen in Monsters, Inc. when one of the monsters runs out of a door saying that a kid almost touched him. And the Wraith Rock Monster poster is in the background of this guy's mind space and Inside Out. Now, Sid also has a poster that seems to be inspired by artist Rat Fink. However, I also found an artist named Joseph Alexander Wraith. Yes, like the Wraith poster right next to the poster in question. And when you look at his portfolio, he's done some incredibly similar art to the movie's poster, and had also created a tribute to Rat Fink before. And then I saw that one of his clients had been Disney. The name on the neighboring poster, the artwork, the client history. Could this be the person who drew the artwork for the poster? So I emailed him to ask, and he was kind enough to get back to me, and the answer is no. It's just a wild coincidence. But my job is to provide you the facts. Now you have them. Either way, Wraith's artwork is fantastic, but it seems like this poster is probably a Rat Fink tribute. Some other fun details are the fireworks brand that Sid buys, illegal. And when Babyface taps out Morse code, they're spelling RR come out. RR standing for received or Roger Roger. And how might these toys know Morse code? Well, a hint might be in Andy's room, where a Buzz Lightyear poster teaches deep space code, which is just Morse code. There are also little employee nods everywhere. Catmull Root Beer was named after Pixar's at-the-time president and co-founder Ed Catmull. Eggman and Eggman Movers was art director Ralph Eggleston's login name. And Sid's backpack says Julie McBarfield has cooties as a result of editorial and camera manager Julie M. McDonald lobbying to get her name put in the film. Heading to the living room of Sid's house, a personal favorite fact of mine is that the yelling voice in the Buzz Lightyear commercial is none other than Penn Jillette. Teller was probably also there too, you just couldn't hear him. To replicate the aggressive nature of commercials in those days, the team pondered who had the most assaultive voice they could think of, and the answer was Penn Jillette.
The world's greatest superhero, now the world's greatest toy!
Reportedly, he was so loud in the recording studio that they could hear him in the lobby through the soundproof walls. And in addition, Eggleston, director and co-writer John Lasseter, and screenwriter and storyboard artist Andrew Stanton were the ones that said Buzz Lightyear in the commercial.
Buzz Lightyear!
Now, you probably caught a few references in this movie, but you might be surprised to find out just how many classic movies and shows the Toy Story team drew from. There are movie references everywhere, and in the movie's commentary track, they talked about a bunch of references that made it into the movie. The army man getting stepped on and saying, "Go on without me," and Sarge saying, "A good soldier never leaves a man behind," was a callback to the trope that appeared in many a classic army film. In Buzz's POV when we first meet him, you can hear breathing much like Vader's in Star Wars. The sequence where Buzz is having to escape perils is inspired by Indiana Jones' Raiders of the Lost Ark, even down to the Spielbergian camera movements and sound effects. The sound the pushpins make echo the arrows from the movie, and the sound of the ball he's running from is the same as the rolling boulder. When Buzz gets knocked out the window at the end of the sequence, you can hear the famous Wilhelm scream. And Rex saying, "What is it, boy?" to a panicked RC is in fact a Lassie reference. Moving outside of Andy's house, they said that Woody and Buzz's fight at the gas station took inspiration from classic Arnold Schwarzenegger fight scenes, and Buzz does a Vulcan salute from Star Trek when walking off. When they get to Pizza Planet, the lights in the eyes of the sentries at the entrance move back and forth like the Cylons in Battlestar Galactica. Inside, we get an alien reference with the game Whack-A-Alien, and the green aliens all pointing up to the claw and wanting to surround and touch Buzz are references to Close Encounters cameras of the third kind. Heading over to Sid's house, Sid's interrogation of Woody had elements of a mix of Star Wars and the interrogation from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and if you thought the carpet in the hallway looked familiar, you might have recognized it from The Shining. In that same hallway during the scene where Scud the dog wakes up, his eye dilation and growling was meant to mimic that of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. Finally, continuing their somewhat strange Schwarzenegger fascination, the scene where Woody slaps Buzz with his own arm was taken from a story the team had heard about Schwarzenegger asking the director on the set of Commando if he could do a take where after cutting off a guy's arm, he hits him with his own fist. To which the director was like, I think that might be going too far. So the Toy Story team heard that and were like, we'll do it, resulting in the iconic Mrs. Nesbit moment. But one of my all-time favorite parts is when Woody is looking for his hat and the shark pops up.
I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Give me that.
Which I had no idea at the time was quoting a Far Side comic with a very similar line. Another fantastic moment is when Woody opens Buzz's helmet and just stands there while he quote-unquote suffocates. Cold. But Woody's reaction was actually a blessed accident. Animator Doug Sweetland was doing a rough pass on the scene and ran out of time before he could get to Woody's reaction. So when the clip showed during the dailies, Woody just turned his head. The team fell on the floor laughing and told him to please keep it that way. We made this video with the help of Geology, and with their help, you can make your skin healthier than ever. Geology is a 22-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company recognized in Men's Health, Oprah Daily, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, and GQ. Their products are built around just a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. Just take a quick 30-second diagnostic quiz and Geology will create a simple and effective skincare or hair care routine customized just for you. Geology's co-wash and deodorant are great, and I use them all the time, but right now they're running a special offer for a skincare sampler pack, and Geology's skincare stuff is in a league of its own. Geology's line of skincare products can help you fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, combat dark or puffy under eyes, have smoother, hydrated skin, and target signs of aging. There has never been a better time to try Geology than right now. For a very limited time, use code ROCKSTARS100 to get 100% off your personalized 30-day skincare sample set. All you have to do is cover the $4.95 for shipping. On top of that, new Rockstars fans get an exclusive bonus offer up to 50% off on an additional skin, hair, or body product of your choice when you add it to your trial. Click the link in the description or go to geolog.ie/Rockstars100 to get started. Believe it or not everyone wanted a slice of the Toy Story pie back in the day, which is hard to imagine since it's become such a mega success. But for instance, Woody's love interest was originally supposed to be Barbie, but they couldn't get the rights from Mattel. In the first script, when the toys are trying to escape Sid's room, one of the toys was going to go through the vent to go to Hannah's room and get help. And then screeching through the door would be Barbie in her pink Corvette and a prom dress. The team said she would have been tough as nails, like Linda Hamilton from Terminator 2. She would have grabbed Woody and said, "Come with me if you want to live," before going through an epic chase scene where Scud raced after the car. Woody also had a line written in about wishing he was anatomically correct in that scene. Regardless, Mattel wouldn't lend the rights, wanting to avoid defining Barbie's personality and instead opting for children to project their own imagined personality traits onto her. They clearly had a change of heart for the second one though, and the Toy Story team said bet. But they also worked a joke into the first one where Rex says he's from Mattel and then says, well, I'm not really from Mattel. I'm actually from a much smaller company that was purchased in a leveraged buyout. Mattel wasn't the only one though. Hasbro turned down the rights to G.I. Joe when they found out that Sid was going to be blowing one up, which led to the creation and doomed fate of the fictional Combat Carl. They nailed the accuracy of the toys they could get though, right down to their movements. They did have to get imaginative for some of them though. In order to figure out how the Green Army men would move, the animation team nailed an old pair of sneakers to a plank of wood and hauled it across the room, creating what we see on screen. One great toy that I feel doesn't get enough love is Mr. Spell, and part of that underappreciation comes from so many of its jokes happening in the background. He laughs when Mr. Potato Head's making fun of Slinky, he stutters on his "You're welcome" scream for a frame when everyone is panicking, he's counting the calories Buzz is burning on the treadmill during a montage, and he's in the background saying hubba hubba when it's announced that Andy got a Mrs. Potato Head. There was even going to be a scene at the end where the toys were having a Christmas party and Buzz was going to be singing Let It Snow while using Mr. Spell as a karaoke machine, but it was cut. Instead, he says the non-denominational "Have a merry and a happy." That's really all he says. He gets cut off. And actually, Jeff Pigeon, the voice of Mr. Spell, also provided his voice for the aliens, along with a few other voice actors. And they achieved that iconic voice by inhaling helium before saying the lines. And I have a moral obligation to say, don't try this at home, kids. Many of the Toy Story toys had a pretty cut and dry design from the beginning since they were based on pre-existing toys. But our two main heroes went through quite a journey to end up where they did. I mean, Woody wasn't even the main character at first. The movie was going to center around Tinny, a character from a previous Pixar short called Tin Toy. And Woody was going to be the sidekick he meets, and was originally drafted as a regular wooden ventriloquist dummy with a top hat. Once it was decided that the plot would be about a new toy coming in and replacing an old toy as a child's favorite, Tinny was scrapped as it wasn't believable that an old tin toy like him would become a child's new favorite plaything. Enter Buzz, at that point named Lunar Larry, who was a little red astronaut toy. Soon after, character designer Bud Luckey made a suggestion that Woody be made a cowboy, which provided the perfect contrast to an astronaut. So he became a cowboy ventriloquist dummy. Problem was, to try to portray a more adult tone in the movie, they gave Woody this snarky attitude, but he ended up just being kind of a D-bag and everyone hated him. So they lightened his attitude and friendlied up his design a little bit, creating the Woody we all know and love. You can actually see a picture that resembles an earlier version of Woody on the wall in Andy's room. So then Lunar Larry eventually evolves into Tempest from Morph, a name that thankfully changed to Buzz after astronaut Buzz Aldrin, and was given a new sleek white design to make him stand out from the rest of the colorful toys and make him feel new and contemporary. The team combined all their favorite childhood toys features to make the ultimate dream toy. So they made him the size of a G.I. Joe, gave him the karate chop action and wrist communicator that the Big Jim series of toys had, added voice commands and LED lights based on the, at the time, super modern Video Command action figure series, which ran from 1991 to 1993, and topped it all off with wings, a glow-in-the-dark effect, and laser pointer. Stanton, who owned Big Jim toys as a kid, also said that Big Jim having the words Made in China under the lid of his wrist communicator led to the team putting Made in Taiwan under Buzz's as well. One last cheeky detail about Buzz is that he's got a Disney logo on his booty, which changes to a Disney Pixar logo in the third movie. The toys aren't the only ones we have to consider though. You ever wondered what the story with Andy's dad is? Why he's not in the picture? Well, it's mostly because he's too expensive. Humans, especially at that time, were super costly to animate due to how complex the process is. So the fewer humans they could tell the story with, the better. That's also why if you look closely, you'll notice all of Andy's friends at his party and all of the people at Pizza Planet look very similar to Andy and his mom and sister. They're the same models with different hair and clothes and a different color palette. Or maybe this is the greatest family reunion ever. And those were our 10 fun facts about Toy Story. And also as a bonus, I would love to talk about how amazingly bad Mr. Potato Head is at Battleship. The fact that he has hit every point on the map except where Ham's ships are and that he's grouped all of his ships in the same place cracks me up. Had to give it some love. What are some of your other favorite factoids from Toy Story? And check your sources, folks. Don't be spreading false information. Also, what other Disney, Pixar, or Disney Pixar movies would you want to hear 10 fun facts about? Let us know in the comments. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter at @It'sAnnaVanston and follow and subscribe to New Rockstars at New Rockstars for more breakdowns of everything you love. And remember, you're my favorite deputy. You got a friend in me. Do, 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 do.